Okay, this is a theory of what the ether is. Um, First, I want to go over a little bit of history and some odd things. Um, and this is just a magnet with the drawings of little Tesla lines around it. So, okay, the ether theory was proposed over 100 years ago as a hypothesis that if sound waves needed air to travel through, and air determines the speed of sound waves, then maybe light or electromagnetic radiation also needs something in empty space to travel through it. And they call that something the ether. The idea was dismissed. Uh, it was dismissed long ago or mostly by most people, in the Michael Morley experiment. I think that's what it's called. About 100 years ago. Basically, in that experiment, um, they showed that light moves the same speed regardless of the motion of the apparatus, and therefore the ether can't be fixed. Therefore, it doesn't exist. You might reread that, or I don't think I'm explaining that very well. But anyway, Einstein with general relativity further aided to the dismissal of ether theory. Another experiment, the double slit experiment, came up with some bizarre results that particles sometimes move like bullets in straight lines, and sometimes they move like waves, producing an interference pattern. The explanation usually given for that is that physics is just bizarre, and there's no real world relationship that can be drawn between it. That's just the way it acts, and that's the way it is. A lot of people would say, well, what's causing the interference pattern? What's interfering? But anyway, Tesla came up with a simple observation that a magnet placed under a sheet of paper with iron filings on it forms these observable lines. The iron filings collect on the lines. We've all seen it, and they call them Tesla lines and flux lines. And why it forms lines, though, is interesting. Why does it form lines? Why doesn't it form squares or circles or triangles or something? And the question to that has never been really explained. Scientists have been unable to explain why the galaxy is moving faster than it should, as if it's missing like 90% of its mass. And they've postulated that there must be some sort of dark matter or dark energy that we haven't seen yet in the universe. Some people still call it the ether. Scientists have also reckoned that pure monopole charges, magnetic charges, positive or negative, must exist in nature, but they've been unable to discover or invent them. That's also interesting. Also odd is the finding that matter annihilated in super colliders and stuff like that can seem to pop in and out of existence for trillions of a second. And we've all learned that if matter cannot be created nor destroyed, so the question is, where is it going? Where is it coming from? Okay, so the theory is that the ether or dark matter, whatever it's called, it would simply be the purest building blocks of the universe. The other 90%, it's the pure positive and the pure negative monopoles of nature. And it might look something like this. Oh, that's not right. Like this. and only three-dimensionally it would look like that, like a grid. Um, if it's undisturbed, it would the positives we want to push away from the positives, the negatives away from the negatives, and attract each other, and so it forms some kind of some sort of neat grid, like, but it's harder to draw 3D. Um, a magnet could also manipulate the ether, so it wouldn't be fixed. And it would look something like that, maybe, where it's forming these little chains of positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, all the way around. And because it's getting compressed into these lines because of the magnet, then you'd have low ether density in between the lines. And that seems to make some sense of that. Let's see what else. It could also explain the interference pattern in the double slit experiment. It could just be some sort of residual magnetism in the double slit experiment, kind of like when you put a magnet next to your monitor and it discolors it for weeks and you have to degauss it. It could be also that as the electron goes through one door, it affects the ether in some way. It concentrates positive in that area if it's a negative electron, and so when the next one comes through, it hits that bubble and kind of bounces off this way or that way, and maybe that's what's interfering. I don't know, really. I haven't tested any of this. Let's see, what else? One question would be, why haven't we detected this if it's that simple? And I don't really know. All I know is that things that are this small, they can rarely ever be seen. It's like their existence, atomic existence and stuff, subatomic stuff, all their existences have to be inferred from the data collected. And it could be that the problem is really that the ether theory was dismissed too quickly long ago. And that's what's, that could make it much more difficult to infer its existence. And that's that's as far as I've gotten with it. I don't claim to understand how it works or have any proof, so I'm not sure about it. But it seems to make some sense of some of these odd things. If it's true, it would probably be important to the development of gravity technology. So there you go.